no way to win that matchup later on. So yeah, new esports. See if they can get the objectives fast. If they can't, boom, esports should just take over. Find out how all pans out soon.
Yeah,
It's our first game of the day, John. Should be a fun one.
yeah. It's gonna be a pretty close matchup. I think New can surprise a team like Boom, but Boom is a lot more consistent. You know, their lineup has been together for a longer time. New has also been stitched together for quite a fair bit, to be fair to them, but they have gotten some roster changes here and there. So, gotta be it's gonna be a bit of a test for the boys on New, but if they can pull it out, then again, you know, they could start climbing up the last few days of groups. Really important for them if they want any shot of being in that top 4 for the upper bracket start. That's where you want to be going into playoffs. You just want that added security. You want to go in with high confidence, closing out groups, and you know you would love to have that kind of start there.
Oh, absolutely. I hope they can. It's going to be a tough one, though. Boom currently sitting in the second place spot of the group stage. Obviously wanting to try and secure their spot there. Do want another 2-0 victory, and if you are Boom right now, this is your second last series of the group stages. You only have one more after this, so they're definitely going to be looking for the 2-0, and after that, it's not really like they can get first place in groups, but it's just about trying to get second and trying to be, you know, above TNC, who are going to be fighting for that second place spot. Right now, they are tied for second.
Yeah, it's important, closing out groups. One thing I want to mention right before anything breaks out, I just saw your shirt on stream. That's a lovely shade of blue you've got on as well.
Thank you, John. Very rare you give me a compliment. Bot lane, Mosen. Looks like he might go down. And he is very, very low, but the uphill attack misses. FBZ can't catch up, and Mosen is going to be able to salve up. So that 25% chance of missing uphill kicks in for Mosen, and he will survive.
It's a pretty costly survival though. Like they popped the salve and they lost all bounty runes. Like there's still one remaining, but that's on the Dar's side. So it's a good start for Boom. They should probably pick that up to get themselves that gold lead, but already off to a good start. You know, we talk about the clockwork support a ton. Like Mosen's got his work cut out for him. He needs to be applying that early pressure as much as possible. Drow clock is actually pretty potent, but we're talking about level 2. When you get cogs up, if you can close the gap, get the battery assault cogs and the multi-shot on top, you can look for kill ops, but you have to be careful in these initial levels. Level 1 is not a shining point for the dual lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Bot lane, FBZ and Hyde going to be up against Mosen and Yamate. Yamate should have a decent enough lane, but we'll see, because FBZ has been pretty on point with his off-lane play in the last couple series we've seen. And he could really do a good job of denying Yamate in this bot lane, but you can see Mosen, he's zoning them out quite nicely on the clockwork. And once he hits level 2 on that clock and has the cogs up, it'll be much easier to just zone them out constantly. That should be a decent enough time for Yamate to be able to farm up on this Drow, which again is going to be very important for them if they do want to try and take this game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the timing into that power treads, into the Dragonlance, and probably 2 Wraith Bands is key for that Drow. So a lot of pressure here. You do have the level 2 marks. Maybe this is when Mosen goes for the cogs and they can play with multi-shot, but you're going to shoot for Hyde. FBZ is still going to be tanky, so that's one thing you have to watch out for. Can you target still? The supports are going to be tied in. That means the mid lane's going to be fairly free for the next few minutes, where you've got DDZ up against Mikato, and it is a better start here for you. You know, it's the DP lane. You can clear the waves out with the Crypt Swarm, get the Spirit Siphon off, and Mikato not going to come to spot. He blinked in.
He did blink in. He wanted the creep. He saw that DDZ did not have enough mana for the Crypt Swarm. He does survive and is able to salve up. Heads up play there from Mikoto, and in this kind of laning stage for the Quap, Mikoto will have to play risky like that to try and get as much CS as possible. Because as you can see, DDZ is currently doubling his... Well, not doubling, but he is ahead quite a bit in terms of CS. So we will probably see Mikoto playing some very risky kind of Quap games in this mid lane up until the laning phase is over.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. You know, it's a DP. It's got a lot more sustain. Quap does have decent damage, but you can't leverage it up against another range. And you can see DDZ. He's just really playing it well, zoning out Mikado. So a lot of pressure on him. We'll see if down the line he can secure that power rune, which is going to be key for his supports. And you look at those supports, the top lane, Kezcute with Dreamocell. Even our Spectre here not having a good time, 13-1 as well. So Candy applying a good amount of pressure. Like, it's not completely slowing down Dreamocell, but you're getting the Pango's farm up and running as well. Barry's getting some really good pulls off, although it is interrupted with the good cut of the trees. And it's just a rather back and forth one, a bit more even than I'd expect coming out from you, but that's exactly what they'd want to bring out here.
They are doing a good job so far. Yeah, they do have the earlier style draft, right? And it is their time to shine for the next 10-15 minutes. Where Boom will have to play very, very passively and just try and get that farm and XP up ASAP. Speaking of, looking back at Dreamocell, John, he is indeed going for the drums build. Into the treads. No Midas queued up yet, and judging by the fact that he is going drums treads, it looks like he probably will just avoid the Midas altogether.
Yeah, you know, I like this for Dreamocell. I think having that early aggression with the Mars and with a Quap enabled so many kill opportunities for the Spec that you really wouldn't mind this. So we'll see how much that first haunt brings up when it is up. But again, you're seeing they're playing this right. They're just making it as difficult as possible for anyone from Boom to find steady farm. And if they are that annoying, you might not see any opportunity to really get the team fight going for Boom.
Makoto trying to go after DDZ, but that Soul Siphon is going to be a bit annoying for him. Top lane, a lot of pressure being placed on Dreamocell. Nice swashbuckling. Candy Loon is going to be able to secure it with Barry. They do get the kill, and that's probably the most important kill they could get on the map.
Yeah, it's the biggest one. Just slowing down that Spec again, slowing down the drums timing into the level 6. That's the bigger one. It's going to put a damper on Boom's timings here, and that's the risk you run when you do run away as a support. Like, the Spectre just can't pull the lane solo too well. Kezcute's got to watch his timings when he goes away to secure certain runes, certain objectives on the map, because it can be punished, although.
Top lane, they're going to try onto Candy Loon now. Candy is dropping low, but Dreamocell can't really keep up, and now Barry going to go back in for a nice Inkswell. They do get a lot of damage off though, and well, Candy's got no regen at the moment, so he'll have to bring some out for himself. Bot lane, looks like Mosin does drop on the clockwork. And last time we looked at this bot lane, John, Yamate was having a pretty good time. It's not so much the case anymore. FBZ has climbed to the top of the CS board at 37-6. Yamate's still doing pretty decently with 24-3, but he has found himself behind the Spectre in terms of farm.
Yeah, it's not the best of signs. I think I'm more surprised by the fact that Mosin's not finding a chance to use the cog, so the top lane's going a bit worse.
Yeah, I mean, Kezcute just walked in for the Scatter Blast and does get the kill. Dreamocell just sitting back and letting Grandma do all the work. He'll just get back to farming for himself. It's still a pretty decent start for new esports. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be enough.
Yeah, that's really the where when you're always, you always have when you are playing against Spec, although Dreamocell.
Being spot of danger again, a nice Inkswell out from Barry. They won't be able to kill Dreamocell this time. He'll just back off. He does have the drums up, and it's about that point where Dreamocell, he can't quite go to the jungle yet, but perhaps once those treads are up, we might just see him leave the lane and just maybe go for the T1 bot tower push, or maybe just go to the jungle. As there is getting, there's becoming no point in really being here in this top lane anymore. The Pango Grimstroke does prove to be very annoying to play against.
Yeah, it is a bit difficult now for Dreamocell, so gonna be important to secure that jungle farm. It doesn't look like we have too many stacks built up here, so there is one stack in top. Maybe you can figure that out. But
Barry,
you'll have to get pushed to it.
He gets dropped. Candy Loon trying to make a run. Ping's coming out, but they don't have the stuns. They do manage to at least get Barry on the Grimstroke. And that'll be enough for Hyde. He's just going to keep roaming across the map on the Venge, see if he can set something else up. Maybe even start stacking for their Quap. And speaking of Makoto, he is behind in CS by about 10 to DDZ. He's going to rush for the power room, but needs to get lucky and does not. It will be down bot lane, so Makoto will take a lot of damage. The race is back on. Hides there, but Mosin is going to be there to secure with the cogs. That'll mean DDZ will get a very, very important rune. He does get the arcane now. About to hit level 8, John. He's going to have that ulti. With an arcane rune, you couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's the perfect timing. They could start looking around the map, maybe eyeing down that top tier 1 as we tend to see nearing the 10-minute mark. Would be a good time to find those objectives that new esports lineup does want to get early. So we'll have to look for them to get that done. You do have your ults up here from Boom. Like, you've got the arena on FBZ, you've got the Sonic Wave ready in Mikado, and there is a smoke out here with Mikado and Hyde.
They're going for, though. Well, they found Yamate. That's the big one. Makoto just going to stand his ground and wait. Now smoke broken. They better blink in. Yamate didn't see him. Magic Missile going to come in with a Sonic Wave and Dream Missile. Also going to haunt down and will haunt back to somewhere, and that's going to be the mid lane, where DDZ has started with the Exorcism. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get much damage now as FBZ does turn up. He does have the arena, and DDZ has plenty of time on the ulti, but can't commit for the tower. He will just go back into the jungle and start farming a bit.
That does put a bit of a damper there on the momentum new esports wants to achieve. They lose out on their big hero. I mean, we talked about Yamate's timings being key.
Really stacks.
Oh yeah. It's the beauty of it. When you've got Avenge, you can multi-stack really easily, and you can just get to work. Get a nice big injection of gold here on Doom's side. Surprised that New didn't really drop the wards forward, and they've got one, but it's not watching to his camp. So a bit of a mistake there to allow this to happen, and
he's in trouble. Spears away, DDZ. Candy Loon gonna try and chase down FBZ, but that's a nice cookie from KezQ. Those are some dodges if I've ever seen one, and on new esports now, they're just gonna have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for New. They can start to apply that pressure up top. We're talking about the timings in those tier 1s. You need to start finding them soon, just to leverage this start you did have in Yamate. And looking at Yamate, he's got his 2 Wraith Bands. He is going to the Dragonlance, got his power card. So our Drow is still up there. I think the timings are still looking good. You just really need to hammer in objective time. You don't want that map space to be as open as it is. Boom is just super efficient farming up, and Dream Assault's going to be ready to go at some point soon.
They are. FBZ going to be up there to defend the top tier 1 tower. So of course, with the Spectre, you're not really going to have the easiest time pushing the bottom tier 1, so they're going to sit back and defend a bit longer and even maybe go for a team fight now. As Hyde and KezQ are coming in, but they do get spotted. Mosin is going to hook shot with the Ink Swell, but Mortimer's Kisses are there into the arena. Candy Loon, he will roll back after KezQ, but does not connect with the Snapfire. Still, they do get one. They avoid the gank. And now with all these heroes up top lane, they can start a tier 1 tower push.
Yeah, and that's the objective they want. They got a freebie on top of it. They don't even need to necessarily commit the Exorcism. So DDZ is going to have that spell up for another engagement. That just gives a lot more room for New to start looking down mid. I think that's where they'll want to commit the Exorcism. But you look at Mikado. He's doing the right thing. He's trying to trade for the mid tier 1. They'll drag it down to about half HP. And that just makes it a bit harder for New to look for additional things to take off the map now.
That's very valuable from Makoto. Dream Missile even pushing down that bot tier 1 tower. Has it less than half HP now. Just setting up for Boom. I think new esports, they do have to start focusing in on that mid tier 1 now. So that's going to be the key tower to slowing down Dream Missile's farm on the Spectre. And they do need to slow him down because he is top of the net worth board right now. So DDZ, he'll show up mid. Makoto is going to be ready for the defense, but he's going to need help, and that's a great hook shot in from Mosin. But Makoto will be able to blink away, and now the TPs are coming in from Boom. They have no intention of letting that tier 1 tower go down, and new esports seem to have no intention of trying to go for a fight.
Yeah, that's the one awkward thing about new esports initiation. And we talked about it in draft, but when you hammer in your supports like this, it can leave you vulnerable to slippery heroes like the Quap. And Mikado's not under any threat when the hook shot comes in. You'll need follow-up to keep the Quap in place. And it's just not quite there yet for you. So have to be a bit more weary as to who you hookshot in. Could find the supports are going to be easier targets. That's your best bet. For now, though, they're also going to go back to farming. This is time they can use to build up in Yamate. He's going for that Hurricane Pike first, as we tend to see. So once you've got that, I think you're going to have better chances to reposition yourself in these engagements for New and give yourself additional range and stats to help with a push. So just a slow and steady build up for both sides. Not too much of a rush, although I'd say New definitely is eyeing those objectives. I mean, they've been sitting on this exorcism from DDZ for a while. They would like to pop it. It's just Boom is way too disciplined around mid. They're just not letting it go for free.
It's going to be a hard push as well, John. They've got every ulti up on Boom Esports. And they know they're waiting there. They're not stupid, Boom. There's your exorcism, but the TPs are in. Inkswell, Mosen, hookshot is going to be on the creep wave, but he does get the Inkswell stun off, but now he's a bit of a sitting duck. DDZ is going to try and help him out, but here comes the Haunt in, and they want to go straight after Barry. Dreamersaw not letting the Grimstroke go, is going to be able to take him out, and now towards the west, well, once again, New is going to be forced to back off, and this is extremely bad news for New Esports.
It's really not what they want. They're not finding the objectives, and now they've still got Arena, they've still got the other spots that could force even more fights.
FBZ, he'll go into Mosen, who does cogs up with the silence. Now FBZ may have gone too far, or maybe not. Mosen will drop, and FBZ is not going to get punished. He'll be fine to walk out, and of all things now, Boom Esports, they're the ones to make the push down the T1 mid. They get the glyph out, and the TPs are coming, so Boom are going to back once again. Spear back on Candy. They do not get the Inkswell on Hyde. And Boom are going to be fine. They'll just keep defending.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning out in these tower trades, or the chip damage you're doing. It's a lot heavier in Boom. Not good signs for New, but as long as the tower's up, I think you'll take it. You know, you'll just take those odds. You'll try again when you do have the exorcism. It's going to be a full minute. But so far, Boom, they do maintain a slight net worth lead. They are the ones playing around their ults a lot better, I'd say. We need to see New Esports really start to line it up. I think you look at the Sport UNO.
Nice hook shot in from Mosen with the Inkswell. They've got the Snapfire, but she's not dead yet. But there you go. Kescu does die. FBZ was not there in time to help out. They do get a nice little support pickup for themselves. They do still hold a slight net worth lead on New Esports, so they're going to try again. FBZ's waiting. 5 seconds on the arena. He'll clear out the creeps. He'll try to anyway. Now T1 dropping low, and Boom, it looks like they've had enough. They'll let it go down. New Esports, they get it done.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer than you'd want, but it does finally go, and that means they can go Roche. Now, don't believe the rewards to spot that from Boom, but they should be aware this is going to be a natural transition for the side of New, and that Roche does not last too long at this point with the damage you do have in Yamate, so Boom's got to be quick on their feet if they want to play with this, but with no Haunt, it's a bit tricky to get that info out.
They're still TPing mid. They've got a tiny bit of time, but they need vision. So FBZ needs to jump in, but he's got no Blink Dagger, so they're not going to get it off in time. Aegis is picked up by Yamate, but a great Sonic Wave out from Makoto, and that is going to be Candy and Mosen going down. DDZ trying to fight back, but this could be dangerous. Dreamus on the back lines coming in now with a great dagger out, and they're going to clean him up. They've got the Aegis. DDZ, he's man fighting, but he can't, not by himself. It'll be a triple kill out from Makoto, onto Yamate, onto Mosen, who just brought back. Mosen, he is in big, big trouble, and Makoto should have him here and does. An ultra kill out for the Queen of Pain. Just great execution out from Boom.
Oh man, that's really tough now for New. I mean, they popped the exorcism in that fight. It was really down to just FBZ getting a really big arena, trapping everyone in. Awkward position for New to fight into. And they trade away their tier 1 mid for that. Boom, overall really happy. Like they're on top, take out the Aegis. They've got the Manta now in Dreamo Cell. So pinning down this Spectre becomes a harder proposition. You're also going to be seeing the Yules coming out from FBZ to set up for himself relatively soon, if not the Blink. So a lot more initiation options coming out here from Boom off the back of that fight. Even the Orchid of Mikato is going to be lining up at a really good time here. And you would need to hit that same set of beats themselves. They've got the ults and DDZ, but they need to be much more defensive with its use, I think. You want to save it for the Orchid use of Mikado down the line, and you're going to need a lot more as well. Candy, he does have the Vlads, looking for the Blink next. Wanting to get that initiation tool to follow up in the hooks. Going to be really important to set up those kills. The three heroes that really needs to get work done here is actually the two supports plus Candyloon. Like, this is your killing trio. You don't really want to drag the DP out when Exorcism's down, but these three have low cooldowns. They're the ones who can find pickoffs. They need information in the map here. New Esports does not have the most offensive wards, and that's something you need when playing against the Spectre. You need to punish that farming pattern and make it hellish to build up a lead there.
A bit of trouble here. Yamate gonna have a crack at this, but no, Kescute. Nice TP out. Mosen was, yeah, he wasn't in range to go for the hook shot. He was right across. He did get some very nice wards out though. Very, very deep in that dire jungle. Thing is, of course, Boom Esports, they're not gonna play in that jungle anymore. They're gonna play in the Radiant jungle every single time. And they'll go after that tier 2 bot tower, and so will the side of New Esports. Hookshot is going to be out. They have caught out Kescute. Cookie is there, and FBZ going to try and protect, but no. There is going to be the Crypt Swarm, but here comes the Horn 10. Mosen is getting low. They'll get one. Now back onto Barry, but Yamate trying to protect with DDZ. They're back onto Dreamer Soul now with the Soulbind down. Candy coming in as well, but the Sonic Wave out from Makoto. Going to push them all back, and they cannot kill off the Spectre. In fact, FBZ now going to try and turn back around. He missed the spear, but they're going to be okay with this as Dreamer Soul does walk out, and it will be a 2-for-1. New Esports still do come out on top, and they'll return back up to that top tier 2 tower.
Yeah, they get a pretty decent fight. Now, Exorcism does fade for DDZ though, so they don't have that spell for the push, and they're just kind of forced to lick their wounds and back off as well. Boom, they find what they want. That's a successful defense for them. And, you know, they save out Dreamo Cell. Looking at her Spectre, it's going to be the BKB next as well, so it's maintaining that aggression, giving them the opportunities to keep fighting, and having that spec in the front line. Exactly what you'd want here for Boom. Fits their playstyle perfectly. So I love seeing that from Dreamer Cell, realizing how his team wants to play. You've also got that Orchid up now in Mikado, so even more control from the Quap, and that does mean DDZ has to hold out in the ults defensively. You can't use that to set up for your silence. You have to wait for the Orchid to be out, use it on yourself, and hope you can catch Mikado out with your silence afterwards, because otherwise you're a bit of a sitting duck. New Esports, it's a BKB next for Yamate as well. He's already got the Pike up, so he's got some good stats, but
always
he
in
needs
trouble
that
here.
to go.
Big smoke out, they know where he is. Mosen with a great hook shot in, and the Ink Swap with the team fight is about to start as they are TPing. A great swap out from their bench, trying to save the day. FBZ again, but this Drow, Yamate after Dreamer Cell. Can he take him out? Dreamer Cell still trying to Spectral Dagger out of this one. With the Fog of War, he cannot get there. But Makoto in the backline, Zit get one onto Mosen. FBZ comes in, gets DDZ. Now on top of the cliff is your Pangolier, but Candyloon has got himself stuck and is probably going to drop. And does. Tries to swashbuckle, but will die midway. It's a 4-for-2. You got the Spectre, John. The problem is, for New Esports, they are not getting objectives. I give them 10 minutes before the game is over.
It's looking that way. I think the timings aren't lining up here for New for sure. Boom, even if you slow down the spec and if you don't make progress in the map, that really doesn't account for much. And looking at that gap between Dreamer Cell and Yamate, it's not too big. It's about 900 gold, so you're definitely in the running when you compare to Pause 1s, but it's everywhere else that the issues are popping in. Like, Candyloon has stalled out on his progress here for a bit. Needs a little bit more in the Pango. Does have the Blink. Is working for the Pipe next. I feel like you might have wanted to remove the Vlads first and went for that Pipe first, just to hold yourself against this magic damage from Boom, but it'll come out later on, so that might be able to give him a little bit more durability, but they do need that ASAP. Just have that wave standing up and fighting, because Boom is starting to overtake. You know, even looking at Kescute, he's got his own Force Staff. They've got so much repositioning tools to save from the hookshot cogs, which again is an issue of this draft for New. Their lockdown is just not spectacular, and They need to follow up very quickly on that initiation coming out, otherwise it falls flat. And now, boom, ults are all up. They smoke up.
Yep. They're confident, and they're going to run straight into somebody. It will be Mosin. Not quite the kill they want. They want to try for Yamate up that top lane, so they're going to run the other way around, but Mosin is there to cut them off. They'll see him. Oh, that is perfect positioning out from Boom, but they miss out. Yamate is gone. Nice game sense from Yamate, realizing something was wrong and does back out. He's going to go back down to that bot lane and keep his farm up. But again, John, it is very, very tough. And the reason why I gave them 10 minutes here is if they don't get all these objectives, being these outer towers, prior to that 10-minute mark, it really does feel like the Spectre just takes over the game. Like, it's just... Dreamersaur's farming a bit too quick on that Spectre. He's going to have the BKB up very, very soon. Once the BKB is there, sure, you still have great damage with the Drow. I just don't see it being enough, but they're going to try for another team fight. Mosin looking for a hook shot, won't be able to get it off in time. And so this smoke is going to be wasted. They'll have to just go back to the drawing board and try to figure out something else.
Yeah, it's not quite lining up for New, and I mean, I do agree with you. Like, the Spectre does go way better late. New esports draft, we talked about this, but it's an earlier draft. They do need to really start hammering in those objectives. They've been trying. The smokes have not been lining up. Boom, with a 5k lead, are just going to get to that point where they might have a bit too much to play with. You talked about Dreamersaur's PKB. You've also got one flying out for Mikado. He's 2 parts off. About 600 gold off, I think, and once you've got that, Mikado, even our Queen of Pain, is going to be able to stand and fight a lot better there. There's just so much more that you need to accomplish here if you are new, and they might be waiting out the next Roche. That's going to be a pretty decent place to look for your next objective. It's just that Boom does have bigger team fight as well. So
Yep.
you've got to be cautious about where you take these fights, because the control from Boom is pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at Dota Plus, John, it was sitting at 88% for Boom, now 87%. It's just the Spectre effect, honestly. They've got a 4k net worth lead. There's no real reason for it to be 87 apart from that Spectre versing the Drow. It just takes over. It's just how Dota works with Spectre. Always has and always will from the Dota 1 days. Still Boom Esports. Gonna run into Mosin now. Mosin gonna get speared back into a tree. FBZ will save the arena. That was the smart decision to make, as now the rest of New Esports, they don't want to fight, they want to back off. And that is going to set up Boom. Well, you're going to have the clockwork up, but they are going to be looking for that next Roshan play. Kesku's already trying to suss it out. They've got 34 seconds.
Yeah, it's a decent amount of time.
Well, that's a massive Sonic wave out. He just needs some help. Just commits it. If FBZ was around that Mars, that might have been a full team wipe. You saw how much damage that did.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's at level 19, a full 4 levels above DDZ. So our Quap, Mikado has definitely kind of overtaken from that matchup and keeps going.
Yeah, just hold them back. Zone them away from the Roshan pit. Don't let them feel comfortable being around there. There's your Roshan up now, they know. Boom. Gonna bring Dreamer Cell in, and they're gonna try and rush this Roshan very soon. However, New Esports, of course, understand they cannot let it go. They'll hang around that mid lane waiting. Boom, haven't gone in for the Rosh yet. They might go for the fight instead. Makoto now trying to go for a bit of a bait here. Candy Loon threatening with the Rolling Thunder. Mosin looking for an angle with the Clockwork. Not gonna get it yet. Back around the Roshan pit for Boom. You are going to continue holding their ground. BZ now, he'll pressure that top tier 1 tower. Force them into a fight. No glyph. They might just have to let this one go. It's just too close to a Roshan play to fight this tier 1 tower push. They'll get scanned out. Boom. Still going to come back in for it. Dreamer Cell actually very, very cheeky there on the high ground. Will get himself off, just making sure there's no wards. And he'll TP down bot for some farm. Of course, he can just haunt back in. New esports. They might try to force a fight now. Mosin having a gander, seeing if he can find a hookshot opportunity, but can't quite yet. Kodo, they're gonna spot him out. No, he'll be out of vision. It's the Roshan pit. Mosin. Rocket flares the Roshan for some reason. I don't think that was the objective. Maybe just checking for couriers in the Roshan.
Well, you know, every moment they play this game new, they're losing out in farm. Yamate just can't do that split push like a Spectre can. Like you pointed it out, but Drumisel just needs to press R. He needs to just haunt in so he can just farm. He doesn't care if you guys play, just play chicken around the Roche. It's not gonna favor you. They're clumped up farming their triangle, but there's only so much farm these 3 camps give.
Hey, wait a minute, John. Dreamersaur's holding an enchanted quiver. When he haunts, does every remnant get the bonus damage?
Now that I have never seen. I do not quite know how the enchanted quiver works with illusions. I'm guessing it doesn't actually work with illusions. But if it does, then that's pretty broken. So that would be pretty nice if it did.
It's 300 magic damage each time it's off cooldown. No, he does send it back. Maybe it doesn't. Would have been pretty cool if it did, though.
It would be pretty broken, Mike.
Yeah, it would be completely broken. Well, speaking of, they're going to run it into Dreamercell. To be a great play out from New if they can get the kill. Dreamercell might not have enough time to get out of this one. Mosin, a great hook shot in with the Conks pushback, and now Candy is there with the Rolling Thunder, but Dreamercell pops the BKB and FBZ. Gonna come in with the Arena, back onto DDZ. He's getting low, he'll Yule's up, he'll survive, but not for long. Still Yamate trying to fight back, but there's your Sonic Wave out from Makoto. Yamate's low, he is gone. And now it's the cleanup for Boom. Makoto, he finds another. 4 for 1, and I think it's time to visit Roshan.
Oh, definitely. Like there is going to be an exorcism up from DDZ when he does respawn, but it's going to take too much time. Now, Boom, they don't have their ults, so you might be looking at this. They're going to have to commit buybacks there. There's just no two ways, and even with the buybacks, they're just going to be 4. You're not going to have your Drow, which will cause a drop in DPS, and man, that Roche, it just melts. You're not going to be fast enough.
No, they are not. She's going to be placed onto Dreamercell. They give Makoto the Aegis. Very interesting decision.
Yeah, you know, I don't mind that. I think this allows your co-op to really make those risky plays. And Dreamercell, we've seen him. He was caught out 5 versus 1, and he still lived. I think they're confident enough that Dreamercell will have the time to simply eat the cheese, come back in. His BKB timing, you know, it's down to 9, but that's long enough to get that off. So you're looking pretty darn good here in this spec, and that farm is just continually building up. They take the tier 1 top, 14k lead. It's about that time where the Spectre takes over. It's 30-minute mark. You need to find something here.
They're going to break out with a fight. FBZ, he'll be targeted, but he has a BKB up. Mosin, he'll try for the hookshot, but now in Arena. Going to catch out 3. They do have the BKB on Yamate, but it's going to wear off soon. He's still going after FBZ, but Hyde will swap him back out, and now the cookie is there from Keskewed, but Hyde is definitely dead. They don't have the Haunt yet, so they don't want to fight this one, Boom. Keskewed should die as well to Candy, and is going to, so New. 2 very nice pickoffs on the supports of Boom Esports. They'll buy a bit more time for themselves in this game number 1.
Yeah, those kills did give them some big items as well. Candy does have his Basher and the Pango, so you've got a little bit more control that can come out from the Pangolier now. It's a good sign of life from you. You really need to see that that Silver Edge coming out here for Yamate. You just absolutely need to break. If you want to handle Dreamercell, you need to break him. This is going to be the next important pickup for Yamate. Once you have that, I think you might be able to handle at least one of these heroes. The issue is you're never going to see Dreamercell alone. You've seen it time and time again. So you have to be really aware of that and just immediately burst him down as fast as possible. You just need so much more damage to really handle him. And even with these items, it might not be enough. So perhaps set your sights elsewhere. We haven't seen Mikado get punished at all. Like, the co-op is 6-0. It's down to that lack of control, but a kill in Mikado would be pretty darn big here as well. they could isolate him.
They could. Kodo gonna blink in. Pop the arcane rune. He wants to go. Mosin, he will TP, but oh, what a spear out from FBZ! Oh boy, that is a real good guess from FBZ, John.
Whew. Boy, that is, you think you're safe, you've got the glimmer on, no dust, and FBZ just blindly skewers you to a tree. It's not a good feeling, and you know, Mikado, he's so confident, he's just diving in.
Mikado does get the silence off onto the Grim, but he's going to be alright. Into that mid-tier 2 tower, where it is going down very fast. They might go for high ground. Now Makoto just going to jump in with the shivers, but he has been stunned up. Still going after DDZ. Now the arena is out, but everyone is basically out of there. In fact, DDZ getting pushed out through the walls, but now Candy Loon with a great roll through, but it's not going to do enough to hold them down. Makoto just keeps blinking forward. Doesn't quite get Candy, however. Meanwhile, Dreamer Cell. He was dropping low, but there's your gobble up now onto FBZ. He's been thrown into the fire. Yamate trying to go after the Mars, who'll hold the shield up. They will at least get the Aegis off Makoto, but Dreamer Cell not going to go down. He'll eat the cheese, and they'll be back onto that tier 3 tower. It's looking bad for you now. It's a great spear back from FBZ into the Mortimer's Kisses. Candy will be dropped, and that's going to be 3 down without buyback. Boom can go for a secondary Rax, and they will go down to the bot lane.
Dang. They've got everything they could ask for. They do not have their ults, but new esports, they need to find a way in here. They need to really land that hook with the Inkswell. It's just such a difficult time with all these BKBs and all the mobility you have from Boom.
Be 2 Raxes down. They can't go for the third as there is a tier 2 tower standing. So time to back off and some more items up here for Boom, but they do control the whole map now. Dota Plus is at 100%, which I would say is very accurate.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for New to bounce back in. I think they've got to play perfectly, and Boom has to kind of slip up a bit for them to punish that. So it's down to that. You can see Kescute and FBZ just sticking together because they want to play with a gobble up. It's just beautiful when you've got it. They were just, I literally think FBZ just made a move order on Kescute to stay around him just so he could get spit in still. And they take the tier 2. New esports, they're stuck in the high ground now, Mike. They can barely go out of their base. It's going to be a bit risky. And they're at the 25k depth. So at early start, the Drow is looking for not there, but they've got the Silver Edge in Yamate. They could isolate Dreamer Cell with a break. Might be able to get a grip on him if you can catch Dreamer Cell out. He's just way too far behind. You know, he just plays with a hunt, and his team is always ready to back him up.
They're going to try for one last defense, but that is really all it's going to be. A last defense here for New Esports. They're going to smoke up. It's going to be a tough team fight. Better get a few pickoffs first. Makoto, he'd be a great target, and he does not have that Aegis anymore, but the Horn was there in time, and now they go for the fight. The arena has been dropped. Barry does go down. It's raining fire again, and well, DDZ, he's in big trouble. The BKB wears off of Makoto with the Sonic Wave out, and there's the GG. Oh, it's just perfect play. A gobble up to finish it off.
Oh, boy.
It's just perfect. 28k net worth, lead at 60, 36.5 minutes in. New Esports, it was a good attempt, John. But the draft needed to win this game in, like we said, 30 minutes max. You need to have all outer towers and control the map. Boom Esports would not allow it.
No, the last pick DP really just hammered it into that timing. I think that's something New has to be so careful about. Boom is the kind of team who punishes that kind of tempo, so a change up in the draft. I think, again, they were preemptive with a Drow just to kind of take it away from Boom. You have to play to your own strengths. Boom is a team that will always kind of find a draft they like. New Esports has to play with that